The latest in gaming news is touching on more PS5 Pro info. We've got information on big sequels, new game lists, and big updates. First, the PS5 Pro reviews are rolling in, so I'm going to pull out some highlights, and interestingly enough, high praise, but we're still fixating on the price. And also, the PS5 Pro now has a game list on the PS5 UI that is likely going to continue to grow, but there is one big title currently absent, and another game got a welcome update with respect to frame rate because it does have the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. Hogwarts Legacy 2 got some new info that we're going to look at and how it's going to tie to the upcoming Harry Potter show, and Nintendo Switch 2 backwards compatibility has finally been spoken to. I've also got some games for your wish list and your radar. If you like this kind of content, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button. Live discussions, it's safe for work, pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. If you want to support directly, consider clicking the join button. Pick Member Plus for $6 a month. You get into all of my extra content as well as my Discord. So let's just start with this PS5 Pro review. These are not previews. These are actual reviews. This is a review roundup. So if you are looking for a PS5 Pro review, there are a bunch of them out there. I wasn't going to lead with PS5 Pro again. I was going to lead with Hogwarts Legacy 2. However, this morning I woke up bright and early and my entire timeline was PS5 Pro reviews. So I'm going to grab a handful. I'm going to pull out their overall thoughts, their scores, their conclusions. Some have even given scores, like they're actually giving it a number. So PC Gamer, now they tweeted the following. They said the PS5 Pro lets console players enjoy what PC players have for years, high frame rates without the downsides. So obviously, when I tweeted this, I knew what to expect. I had somebody asking me if I thought the PS5 Pro was going to be able to match the performance of the Steam Deck with Hogwarts Legacy and medium ray tracing. Yes, somebody actually asked that question, thinking that the Steam Deck is going to outperform the Pro, and many were quick to ask if I was going to be getting 120 frames per second, because I guess 60 frames per second isn't good enough anymore. Anyway, PC Gamer's headline was, the PS5 Pro gives console players the guilt-free 60 FPS that PC players have enjoyed for years. And their byline is, this is a win for all of the frame snobs out there. But their conclusion is where things get a little wonky, and I'm going to take some issue with how they have framed things and things that they have said in their review, because I don't think this is all that helpful to the consumer. The first thing they say in their conclusion is, the PS5 Pro is a big step toward console players joining the 60 FPS party that PC players have enjoyed for years, and a lot of that is due to PSSR. Well, for starters, I've been enjoying 60 FPS on my base PS5 for the last 4 years, so this sentence couldn't be more inaccurate or misleading. For a company and an outlet that's supposed to be specializing in technology, they're completely missing the boat and not representing things accurately at all. Getting 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro is, yes, helped by PSSR, but that's not what's actually happening. PSSR is creating headroom so that you can bring over fidelity features, better resolution, and ray tracing while maintaining 60 FPS. PSSR is not suddenly allowing PlayStation to hit 60 FPS. They've been doing that for the last 4 years on their base PS5. So PC gamers should do a little bit better research into just how well the PS5 has been doing with performance for the last 4 years. They went on to say, I don't think these improvements are worth $700 though, especially if you own a gaming PC or even a PS5. Unless you're desperate to play the Sony games that haven't been ported over yet, PC is still the way to go. So this is, again, I think, a strange way to conclude the review. What about all the people that are still on the PS4? There's roughly 60 million folks who are currently on a PlayStation 4 and they haven't made the jump yet. Is it worth it to them? Are you going to compare a PS5 Pro at $700 to a standard PS5 digital at $450 and measure the $250 difference and give people information on the power jump, the storage jump, the memory jump, anything like that? You are PC Gamer after all. I would expect better. What about the majority of all the PC owners, since the conclusion mentions it's not worth it for people who own a gaming PC? Well, according to all of the data, most of the PC owners out there are on weaker gaming PCs than the PS5 Pro. Again, why are you not mentioning this? Why are you not comparing the average PC gaming rig out there to the power of the Pro and the price point of the $700 versus what it would cost those people to upgrade? The problem with conclusions like this is they don't actually help the consumer. They're more interested in towing the party line. Making it sound like the base PS5 hasn't been delivering 60 FPS for the last 4 years is dishonest and misleading, and then when you judge the Pro against only one slice of the market, while simultaneously completely ignoring that the majority of PC owners have weaker rigs than the Pro, I don't think this is helpful to any curious consumer at all. The review started out strong, but then it ended with the typical PC is better ideology that doesn't seem rooted in analysis of the market or the consumers that could be considering this device. So let's move on to another review. IGN, one of the outlets that actually gave a score. They opened the review with this paragraph and just listen to the logic. The PlayStation 5 Pro seems like it should be more exciting than it actually is. It's without question the most powerful console you can buy right now, and the enhanced games I've been able to play ahead of launch do look great and run much more smoothly than the standard PlayStation 5 can handle, thanks to some upgraded hardware and impressive upscaling tech. But it's also completely unsurprising that the faster PS5 is, well, faster, and it's also more expensive. Considering that the original PS5 can still provide enough power to run games competently, spending $700 means you have to really want the best of the best from your games to make the Pro a worthy investment. So let's see what they've concluded in such grand fashion here in their opening paragraph. The PS5 Pro is better, it's faster, it costs money, and it's for people who really want it. Absolutely dizzying. Now, let's go back and actually look at the PS5 Pro and how they actually talk about any of the tech upgrades. So, if you go back and you replace the opening sentence with PS5 Pro and you swap it out with a new GPU, a new phone, a new TV, it feels very predisposed to be negative. Would you argue that a brand new phone or a brand new GPU or brand new TV is significantly better, but surprisingly actually more expensive and only for the people who really wanted it? Now, they concluded their review by giving it a 7, and they state that the PlayStation 5 Pro is an impressive console with noticeable boosts in performance and graphics for games that take advantage of its powerful hardware. But for $700, you'll need to think twice about whether or not the upgrade is worth the price tag. Now, it's interesting to me that the first half of the conclusion sounds like something that you would give a good score. You say that it's impressive. You say that it's better. Earlier in the review, they said it was much more impressive or much smoother. High praise, right? But then you give it a 7. Imagine reading an Amazon review for a product that said it was great, it was impressive, it did what I needed it to do, but it's a little pricey, 3.5 stars. You're not giving the consumer a breakdown and a judgment of the product's quality. You are expressing your opinion about the price, which is fine. You can let folks know that you think it's too expensive, but a 9 out of 10 item that you feel is too expensive at least lets me know it's a quality product. If I went to Amazon and was looking at a very expensive air fryer and all the reviews talked about the price, that wouldn't tell me whether or not the air fryer was any good. Is it doing a good job? Is it burning the food? How about all those great features it talks about? Do they work well? Telling me that something's impressive and good and does what it's supposed to do, but then giving it a 7 out of 10 because of its price point, it's just backwards. Now, The Verge took a more straightforward approach here, and they listed pros and cons. The pros are, they said, it's a PS5, but with mid-range PC graphics quality. There are fewer tough choices between fidelity and frame rate, slight improvements to PS4 game sharpness too, smaller, lighter, and quieter than the original PS5. And then when they list the cons, right at the top of the list is, it's $700 US. No the disk drive costs extra. No guarantee your favorite games will see improvements. Now, I think this is a little bit easier to sort of break down and see, okay, you've got pros and cons, and then the consumer has to decide whether or not they think it's worth the $700. But when you list the pros and the cons of a device, again, if I'm looking at the phone or the latest GPU or a vacuum cleaner, telling me that one of the cons of the device is its price point just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, it would make sense if you actually argued that the $250 price difference between the standard PS5 and the Pro wasn't worth the extra storage, stronger GPU, more memory, and brand new upscaling technology and advanced ray tracing. But see, arguing that would be very difficult, because if you went into the PC realm and you were building a PC for, let's say, $1,000, and let's say you wanted to increase the storage of that PC by 1 terabyte, and you wanted a GPU that was 45% faster, and you wanted proprietary upscaling tech or a little bit more memory, do you think you could do that for $250? I don't think that you could. So if you're actually going to compare the base PS5 to the PS5 Pro, it's a $250 difference. And instead of breaking down that price point difference and talking about the difference in power and hardware in the box, we're just getting more bloviation about the fact that it's too expensive. Now, listen to this story at the very end of the Verge review. They said, for that matter, I fired up The Last of Us Part 1 on my mid-range gaming PC today, a PC whose graphics card would still retail for around $300. I sat on a loading screen for 15 minutes as the game compiled the game shaders, and then I launched the game with buggy hair and dull gray mirrors that didn't reflect. I mucked around with the settings for 20 or more minutes to make the game playable. Doesn't that sound wonderful? They went on to say this, then I plugged the PS5 Pro into the same 4K monitor, and the game loaded almost instantly. It was both beautiful and playable right away. Imagine that. And also, imagine all those people on those mid-level gaming PCs having this experience, PC gamer, since you seemingly forgot about them being the majority of the PC gamers out there. This is the experience that awaits them. They can muck around, fiddle, and get inferior performance, or they can spend $700 and get all of this stuff working out of the box and getting graphics like the ones you're seeing behind me and performance like what you're seeing behind me. This is, I think, a very competitive offer to anybody who's considering upgrading or replacing their mid-level rig right now. You're staring down the barrel of quite a bit more than $700 to get to the level of performance that you're seeing in Spider-Man 2 right now. According to Steam, that's a lot of people. That's the majority of the PC audience on Steam. Or the PS5 could be just additive for them. If they wanted to get a PS5 Pro, it doesn't necessarily have to replace their PC. You have to remember, the PC is great for the lion's share of the AA and the indie titles that are out there. I've been playing and recommending a bunch of them to you in these opening segments. And that's not ever a concern that I have. Is it going to have performance issues or driver issues, right? When I'm playing Karate Survivor or Windblown, I'm confident it's going to run perfectly fine no matter what. Now, very quickly, not a lot of people did scores for the PS5 Pro, but I'm going to run down a couple for you. T3 gave it a 10 out of 10. The Verge, Tom's Guide, Tech Radar, Geek Culture, Games Hub, and Games Reactor UK, and Gadget Guy all gave it an 8 out of 10. And then Games Radar gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And then IGN and Digital Trends gave it 7s. Those are mostly 8s. A big chunk of them are 8s, as you heard me list, a few 7s, and then there is one 10 out of 10. Now, keep in mind, if the worst thing that folks are saying about the device is that it's high price and the lack of a disk drive, I would say PlayStation takes that as a win. They're not saying it doesn't run well. They're not saying it's not good enough. They're saying it's a little bit too expensive. That's not really a slam, especially if PlayStation's positioning themselves as the Apple of the gaming world. I don't think Apple cares if you think their iPhone's too expensive or their iPads are a bit too pricey. When people talk about the functionality of them or the new things that they have, that's all that typically matters to the consumer. If people like it, they'll spend the money. Now, very quickly, there is a new category on PlayStation right now called PS5 Pro games. It's roughly 52 games. Black Ops 6 has still not been added, but it should be there tomorrow, as that's listed as one of the official launch titles for the PS5 Pro Enhanced list. And we're going to have to check out the count tomorrow once the thing is in the wild. The second PS5 Pro that I ordered, I got my shipping notification on, but the first one I'm still waiting. Now, one game that I was waiting on was an update on the Until Dawn remake. It got a very welcome update right before the Pro dropped, considering it has the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. In case you missed it, this game launched capped at 30 FPS. And it was listed as a PS5 Pro Enhanced game. The official patch has fixed a lot of issues, but they also added some modes, and they said the following. This major update brings a boatload of fixes for commonly reported issues, plus new performance and fidelity modes for both PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro. So they're adding a performance mode for both PS5 and the PS5 Pro that will prioritize FPS, and a fidelity mode that will prioritize graphics. So this should resolve the concern that I had about this game, because I don't think any 30 FPS capped game should be getting the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. If you still want to have your quality mode capped at 30 and your performance mode at 60, that's totally fine. I'm talking about games that are capped at 30 should not be getting the label. Now, what about Hogwarts Legacy 2? I've got to include this. I know we spent a lot of time on the Pro, but there's other things going on in the gaming world. Now, nobody doubted that there would be a sequel to this game after the insane success of the first. Variety actually broke this story about how the sequel is going to be tying itself to the upcoming shows, and this is what the article is titled: Harry Potter 2.0, How Warner Brothers Plans to Keep the Magic Alive with a New HBO Series, Video Games, and Pricey Merch. Now, according to the article, quote, Warner Brothers Games is at work on a video game sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, which is a very big priority for Warner Brothers Discovery's C-suite. So the C-suite really wants a sequel to this game. Not surprising, it made them boatloads of cash. And then, what did they say about actually tying this to the show? This is what they had to say. Haddad says that the game's team has been coordinating some of the big picture storytelling elements in the Hogwarts Legacy sequel with the storylines that will play out in the Harry Potter HBO series coming to Warner Brothers Television. Now, some people thought that this would mean you would jump in time and that we'd be playing a game when we're going to be at school at the same time as Harry Potter. I actually think that's very unlikely. What they are likely going to do is have us experiencing things or doing things at the Wizarding School of Hogwarts, and then those things will be directly related to things that we know happen in the Harry Potter books. Being able to do 8 episodes of an hour long each, or 10 episodes, I believe it's 10, that's 10 hours that they'll be able to tell the entire first book, second book, and so forth. That's a lot of time. So I'm sure they'll include more elements from those books that got glossed over in the original movies, and then those things will likely be present in the sequel of Hogwarts Legacy. Like, you may do something at the castle, or establish a custom, or establish some type of teaching rule or regulation or something that will then show up in those movies. In those TV shows. So that is confirmation that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is on the way, and it's seemingly going to be heavily tied to the story of Harry Potter, even though it takes place like 100 years before. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 backwards compatibility, very quickly, this is not really a huge news story because I knew this was going to happen, but it wasn't clear. All right. In the wake of the Nintendo's earnings reports, they made it very clear you're not going to hear about the Switch 2 this year. I don't think so. The thing's not coming until second quarter at the earliest next year, so they wouldn't announce it right before fourth quarter where they get a lot of holiday sales. So I've continued to say you're probably going to get a Switch 2 event in January or February, and then you're going to see this thing roll out in like May, probably. Something like that. It's probably going to be April or May. That's been my prediction. Now, Furukawa said the following on Twitter. This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. And again, I anticipate this being in the first quarter of next year, and then the Switch 2 will launch in the second quarter. That's been my prediction for a while based on their previous earnings reports. Now, this wasn't surprising because there was another earnings call with Nintendo. It was an earnings call or a Q&A or something where they did speak to Nintendo accounts were going to be used to seamlessly move those users to the new console. And I thought that was them confirming that there would 100% be backwards compatibility. So, but now we've got hard confirmation, and I think that's great to have. Okay, there, we're almost done. I can talk to the live audience in a little bit. I know you guys are going to want to bat this ball around because I was pretty critical of some of those reviews of the PS5 Pro. So now it's time for games for your wish list and your radar. So El Paso Elsewhere is the first game. I like to give you games sometimes that are already out. I also like to give you games that are on multiple platforms. El Paso Elsewhere is on Xbox, PS5, and Steam. This has a 90% across the board. A 90%. It is a third-person bullet time reality shifting game where you fight vampires. How is that not awesome? It's described as a third-person love letter to classic shooters. It is currently $20 on all platforms. Give this game some love. If you like Max Payne, if you like some of those classic shooters, I can't see skipping over this one. So check this one out. Again, it is on all 3 platforms. El Paso Elsewhere. So, always like to give you games for your wish list and your radar, and this one's going to be for your wish list, or I'm sorry, this is actually one that you could play right now as well, but this one is going to be limited as far as only being available on Steam. This one launched February of this year, 2024, and it has an overall score of 94%. It's $20. It's an action roguelike, and it looks insane. Tons of combos, fast-paced, fluid, and frenetic action, and it boasts of having 10 playable characters with vibrant personalities, unique combat styles, and immersive voice acting. This was put on my radar yesterday by one of our community members, so be sure to check this out. This is a Steam-only game, BlazBlue Entropy Effect. I don't know if I said the name of the game. Sorry, I might have skipped over that. This is called BlazBlue Entropy Effect, and it is extremely cool looking. So, again, be sure to check this one out if you haven't already. And the last one is for your wish list and your radar because it's not out. It is going to be Steam only right now, and there is no release window. This one is called Acts of Blood, as in like acts of a play. Acts of Blood. It's inspired by the movie The Raid, if you're familiar with that. And it's described as the following. Acts of Blood is a beat-em-up action third-person game which focuses on fast-paced, brutal hand-to-hand combat set in dystopian city of Bandung, Indonesia. Now, the gameplay speaks for itself, okay? If you watch this, it looks like Sifu made by John Woo. If you know who John Woo is, you're an OG, and if you don't, you're probably very young. In any case, there's a demo of this on Steam right now. Now, I may try this later with members. This is a great reason to be a member to the channel. Again, if you want to support what I do here every day directly, hit subscribe and hit the like button. But if you want to go beyond that and support directly, become a member. And be sure you pick Member Plus. It's $6, and you can be a part of whenever I showcase these demos and a part of the background stuff that we do. So, those are the games for your wish list and your radar. We got PS5 Pro reviews. They're all looking very positive, even though people are still fixating on the price and not doing very, I don't think, intellectually sound comparisons on price. There's a PS5 Pro game list that's available on PlayStation right now, and it's growing. Until Dawn Remake got a nice update just in the nick of time before the Pro releases tomorrow. And then Hogwarts Legacy 2 info, as well as confirmation that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have backwards compatibility. So that's the news. And now it's time for the discussion. Guys, make sure you go through that ritual of smashing the like button. And who do I have to thank already for gifting members? Han shot first, and so did you. That first one from Sneaky Wolf gets us to 86, but then another one takes us to 87 from Joker Quinn, and a 10 bomb comes in from Behemoth. It's my birthday week. Let's have a big one, boys. We can celebrate my birthday on Friday night. My birthday is Saturday, so thank you guys so much for adding to the total. If you prefer to do super chats, we also have a super chat goal, and that will make me gift members to the total. I've never done that before. It's a brand new feature we're getting to test out. YouTube gave us the early access to it. So always remember that that's another great way to support, and I now give you a way to add to the member count. Listen, no matter what you're doing right now, what you should be doing is smashing the like button. Let's get those first 200 likes. It helps out the stream. Curious what you guys thought of my opening. I'm curious what you thought of the opening, because the reviews that are doing this price fixation thing, I really am curious, why is nobody comparing the base PS5 digital and the PS5 Pro and saying there's a $250 difference? What's the difference in hardware? What's the difference in power? Why are we not doing that? Ryan Hayer with 31 months and a VIP renewal. Thank you so much. We're close to the first 100 members of the week. Thank you so much, Ryan. I just don't get why nobody's doing that. They're just like, yeah, it's 700, that's a negative. And I'm like, yeah, but why is that a negative? Like, if you were building a PC right now and you were like, well, my budget is $1,000, right? And then you got done building it and it was all in your cart, and you're like, well, I want to add a terabyte of more space. I want to add a little bit more memory. I want a GPU that is, 40% faster. And yeah, just those three things alone. Could you do that for less than $250? Could you? Could you take a $1,000 rig? It's all in the cart, and can you add all those things I just said for less than $250? Wouldn't it cost more than that to upgrade all those peripherals? Brandon Marlborough with the that's a 12-month VIP renewal. Welcome back in. Puts us right there on the doorstep, teetering on that 99. Thank you so much, Brandon. Better GPU, PSSR, better ray tracing, extra storage, extra RAM. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, well, it's not $250 here in the UK. A digital goes from $320 and the Pro is $700. It's more than double the price. Okay, that has nothing to do with the conversation, though. Prices across the globe are in relation to all kinds of things going on right now. That just muddies the waters. Are you going to do the same thing with all other tech, Paul? Anytime tech comes out, are you going to make sure and invoke that in the discussion? If somebody thinks a phone, GPU, CPU, television, if any of these things are too expensive, or if you're getting, weird currency inflation stuff going on, I don't know. And a single comes in from Stone Spire and he says, that's it. We've got to get the first 100 out of the way. What are we doing, boys? And then Ryan Hayer is the agent of chaos and takes us to 101. I owe you guys 5 members. Thank you so much. Do we do this with everything else? Every single time tech comes out, do you make sure and cross-check all regions across the globe for different pricing? Well, it's more in Canada. Well, it's more in Europe. Well, it's more in Japan. I mean, that's not the discussion that we should be having. That isn't. Measure it right now in the market as it's priced and ask that question. Is it a big enough jump? And if you want to say, well, it's a bigger jump for Europeans, okay, does the same thing happen when you go to build a PC over there? If you try to build a PC in Canada or the UK, are you running into similar problems? For a lot of households outside the console enthusiasts, it'll be far too high price. That's not the question that I'm asking. You're now invoking something completely immaterial to the discussion. The discussion is anybody that's invoking price looking at the actual difference in the hardware and saying it's not worth the money? If you were building a PC and you wanted to add a terabyte more of storage, you wanted a GPU that was 40% faster, you wanted a little bit more memory, would you be able to do that for a small amount of money? How much would it cost you to do that? Let's say you've already got your rig all built. Let's say you've already got your rig all built, you've got it in the cart, it's $1,000, and you want to add those things to it. What's it going to run you? If it's going to end up running you roughly the same, like another $200 to $250, then what are we talking about? What are we talking about? That's my issue with people consistently mentioning the price. PC Gamer made it sound like, yeah, PS5 Pro, people can finally enjoy 60 FPS. Homie, I've been enjoying 60 FPS for the last 4 years on my base PS5. Maybe PC gamers should turn on a PS5 and actually run games on it and see. We've been able to play 60 FPS for the last 4 years. What are we even talking about? Can PlayStation 5 Pro Game Boost mode finally deliver 60 FPS in the Elden Ring experience? Digital Founder says no, but the experience is still much improved. Yeah, but that's a from... You're in quality mode? That looks like a photo mode. Yeah, they're comparing quality mode. I don't understand the picture. Hang on, let me look at this. The frickin' FromSoft engine has had issues with frame rate for how long? That's not an indictment of the Pro. In Elden Ring... I don't understand. Are they comparing quality modes here in these pictures further down in the article? Because Elden Ring is one of the worst games to test frame rate in. It had a frame stutter issue and a frame drop issue on the day that it launched, and it wasn't fixed, and still at some level I was told it wasn't fixed for a really long time, and still isn't largely completely fixed. It's like an engine level issue. Yeah, Elden Ring's also not a PS5 Pro enhanced game, so it's just getting Game Boost. I mean, thankfully, Eurogamer's being honest in their tweet. They're saying, can Game Boost finally deliver a 60 FPS Elden Ring experience? Their screenshot is of quality mode hitting 58. That's quality mode. Why wouldn't you test performance mode? PS5 Pro is almost double the price of a PS5 for a boost. Nix, that's not the way you would frame it. It's $250 more. You have to ask the question. Okay, have you ever gone to the store and you see two items side by side, let's say TVs, and this TV, same company, same brand, same size television, and one of them is more money? What do? You look at the little placard, the little card, and you read the features. And you have to make an assessment. I'm paying $250 more. What am I getting? What are those features? Nobody's doing that with the Pro. They just keep framing it falsely. Like, well, at $700, you know, if you've got a PS5, you got to chalk up $700. Well, not if you trade in. And what if you are on a PS4? There's a lot of people still on the PS4, and they've never purchased a PS5. So they're debating between $450 and $700. How much for $250? $350 more, hardware is $400. No, that's false. The digital version of the PS5 base right now is $450, and the PS5 Pro is $700. It's a $250 difference. So what you're saying isn't true. So it's a $250 difference, right? Between the two. If you go buy a digital-based PS5 and you buy a PS5 Pro, you're going to have to ask the question, what am I spending $250 more on? And a 5-bomb comes in from Belphegor, taking us to 106. If we're going to do a birthday celebration stream on Friday night with Madam and jump scares, you guys are going to have to kick it into high gear. Double check and see if you have a membership renewal. I got to open the office door. My daughter was watching Bluey, and it's getting warm in here. Give me 1 second. Don't forget you get more space. I didn't know the price went up. Still pretty close, though. Still pretty close. No, it's not. $250 more is not double the price. Double the price would be $900. So settle down in acting like what you said was accurate. It wasn't accurate, okay? If you're going to speak about this, it's not hard to be accurate. It's very easy. These are zeros and ones. These are hard, firm things. A base digital PS5 is $450. It's a digital. It's a one-to-one comparison to the PS5 Pro because the PS5 Pro out of the box is digital. That is a $250 price difference. What am I getting that's different? You're getting another terabyte of storage. You're getting extra memory that is dedicated to the operating system. You're getting a GPU that's 40% or 45% faster. You're getting proprietary tech that does AI upscaling. You're getting advanced ray tracing. So you stack all that up, and then you have to decide, is that worth $250? So if we go into other environments where you can buy these types of things, do it. Add another terabyte of storage to your standard PS5 digital. Add another terabyte of storage to your PC that you're building on PC Part Picker. Do it. Add another storage of terabyte. Add a stronger graphics card. Add a little bit more memory. Are you going to be able to do that for $250? See, nobody's doing this from an intellectually unbiased assessment. Everybody's bias is, well, we have to position this as if it's too expensive because the sticker shock of the public, well, we got to lean in and tell them what they want to hear. 2 terabyte only is $200, so yes, it's worth it. Like right now, if you own a PS5 digital base and you want to add a terabyte of storage, what are you going to spend to do that? How much money is that going to cost you? That's just storage, by the way. That's just storage. We're not talking about a faster GPU. We're not talking about advanced ray tracing or the PSSR upscaler. We're just talking about the storage difference alone. What's it going to run you? This isn't difficult. This isn't hard. In the tech world, we have great ways of making comparisons here. No, the CPU is not 45% faster. It's the same CPU, homie. It's a faster GPU. It's better value in the US for sure. And that's an entirely different discussion, is it not? So, Paul, if you're going to review something, like if I go to look at that air fryer on Amazon and someone gives it a review and says, well, if you go to Amazon.uk, they're having issues with their currency or something, and it's actually more money over there, that you're not giving me an assessment of the thing's quality. If I went to Amazon and I saw somebody give something 3.5 stars and I read the review and they're like, it's impressive, it's good at what it's supposed to do, but I think it's too expensive. I'm like, you're not giving me an assessment of the thing's quality at that point. I don't go and look at reviews to hear what somebody thinks about the price. Is it any good? I'm considering buying this toaster. Is it any good? And all the scores are like, yeah, 3.5, basically a 7. That's what a 7 is. 3.5, 3. Why? It's a little too expensive. Is it good? Does it do a good job? Does it do the things that it said it was going to do? That's what I want to know. This is a significant boost. Elden Ring is just poorly optimized. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate Digital Foundry going to, like, some of the worst offenders with respect to optimization, like freaking Elden Ring, and being like, hey, does game boost? That's the automatic thing, by the way. That's just automatic. That's not PS5 Pro enhanced. Does game boost help? And we're seeing a 20 to 30% increase in frames in Elden Ring. So, yeah. I would say that's pretty good. One of the worst offenders of frame stutters and frame drops. The Pro's CPU can clock higher, most likely because of the design. Yeah, let's not forget Wi-Fi 7, 2 USB-C ports, HDMI 2.1 cables, along with all the other stuff you stated. Yeah. If you're in a situation where you have to connect your console via Wi-Fi, yes, it's got better Wi-Fi as well than the base PS5. Very close to 60 now. Listen, I want to be clear. All I'm asking people to do is be consistent and be honest. Don't say things like what PC Gamer said. Well, the PS5 Pro is enabling the console world to join the 60 FPS party, and it's in large part due to PSSR. You couldn't have wrote a more false sentence. It's so dripping with falsehood. First and foremost, there have been a consistent and steady stream of 60 FPS games on the PS5 for the last 4 years. Apparently, PC Gamer didn't pay any attention to them. And if they reviewed them, then that's embarrassing because you reviewed, I'm assuming, Horizon, Ragnarok. Did you review those games? What about Spider-Man 2? What about Returnal? What about Ratchet and Clank? Did you review those games, PC Gamer? Did you somehow miss the fact that all those games ran at 60 FPS? I think you did. The second problem with their statement, PS5 Pro is not suddenly pulling games up to 60 FPS with PSSR. PSSR is upscaling tech that gives headroom so you can bring better fidelity features and ray tracing over and still get 60. And yet you somehow, as an outlet that's supposed to be experts in tech, you can't get the nuance right. You can't get the facts right. I'm not a tech guy. I don't do tech breakdowns. And yet I read something like that and I'm like, you're PC Gamer and you can't get the tech right. You don't even break down in your conclusion how this thing is working. All I'm asking for is consistency and honesty. This is a low bar. It's a really low bar. You don't have to sing its praises. You don't have to tell people to buy it. You don't have to give it 2 thumbs up. Just represent the equipment accurately. That's all you have to do. It's not difficult. It isn't difficult. Apparently it is difficult. Apparently it's too difficult. Like, just completely out of the loop. Completely out of the loop on the Pro. PSSR has nothing to do with frame rate boost, you're right. Right. Like, it's got to be one of the worst sentences. I was like, this is your conclusion? You're supposed to be the experts. And this is your conclusion? Oh, and then they say it's not worth the $700 if you have a gaming rig or a PlayStation 5. Okay, let's stop. Let's just set the people with PS5s to the side because they can trade in and you're completely ignoring the fact that they can trade in. So it's not $700 for them. But sure, Jan, we'll just set them to the side. Let's take a look at all the people who own gaming rigs. You're a PC gamer, aren't you? You guys should know this, that most of the people on a gaming rig right now, it's weaker than the Pro. Right? So you have to ask the question, what's the average spend of a PC gaming consumer if they want to upgrade their rig to equal the power of the Pro? Crunch that number. On average, what are they going to have to spend? And then you can draw your conclusion as to whether or not the $700 price point is worth it. You see, that would take time and facts and nuance and intelligence, but that's too difficult. So we're going to toe the party line, and we're going to say this isn't worth it if you have a PC, if you're a PC gamer, if you have a PC gaming rig, even though the vast majority of those people would not have a rig that can even do the stuff the Pro is doing, as is evidenced by The Verge's review. So The Verge walks out, says the same thing. The $700 price point is in their con list, which is hilarious. I don't know how that's a pro and a con of a piece of hardware, but there it sits. And the conclusion to the Verge article is, I tried to run The Last of Us Part 1 on my mid-level rig where they said the GPU still runs roughly $300. So just their GPU is half the price, roughly half the price of the Pro. And they try to play The Last of Us Part 1, and they got to fiddle around, and it's not running well, and it's not running right, and then they boot up the Pro and everything runs beautifully. That's the experience of most PC gamers that are going to read that PC Gamer article and be like, whew, I'm so glad you gave me comfort in knowing that I shouldn't buy this thing because I have a PC. You know, I play games on a PC. Well, yes, but are you going to be able to run them at the level that the Pro is going to be running games like Horizon and Ratchet and The Last of Us? This isn't difficult. It isn't difficult. Delivering facts to people isn't difficult. You can then conclude, for me personally, or in my estimation, you can say all those things. The reason they don't want to do all that is because it's a lot harder to say a base PS5 digital is $450 and the Pro is $700. And the $250 difference in price, we can't justify it. The reason they can't do that is they would look like buffoons, because if you actually look at the hardware differences between the two devices, you would never say that in any other circumstance. If someone was building a PC and you told them, hey, I see what you're building there. You can add a terabyte of storage. You can add a little bit more memory so that and again, adding memory that the operating system only pulls from is unique. But like, hey, yeah, you can add a little bit more memory. Oh, you can add a GPU that's like 40% faster, and it's only going to cost you $250. Do you know how many people building a PC would be like, where, how do I do that? That's an incredible bargain. That's such a good deal. I budgeted $1,000. You're telling me for just a measly $250 more, I can get another terabyte, I can get a little bit more memory and a faster GPU? Sign me up, is what they would say. Don't you see the problem? It's like you're not giving the consumer an assessment of the quality of the product. You're not giving the consumer an accurate representation of the price point to the hardware. You're giving them a bunch of ideology. You're giving them pre-packaged, toe the party line. You got to make sure and let people know, yeah, you guys all thought this was too expensive, so yeah, it's too expensive. We don't want to tell you something you don't want to hear because, we don't want to hurt our click rate any more than it's already been hurt. Where are the facts? Where are the basic breakdowns of price to power, price to hardware? Who's doing it? Who? Where? I scrolled through a bunch of reviews and they're all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. Altavio Cruz of 13 months. Not only doing a fair assessment of the Pro would take time and money, it would give a result that would give engagement online. Thank you so much for the 13 months, and that bumps the line to 107. Apparently PC Gamer completely missed this. Yeah. The hardware breakdown on Steam, I don't need these people. I don't need them to come out and cheer for a brand. I don't need them to cheer for Sony. I don't need them to cheer for the Pro. I just need you to deliver the facts. That's it. Just do your job. That's your job, is to deliver the facts. You're allowed to give your opinion. You are. Give your opinion after you give the facts. That's a great clean break. Here's everything that you get. Here's everything you get compared to the base PS5. Because you get into the subjectivity of, well, I didn't really notice a difference, or I don't really think it's that big of a jump in performance. Okay, that's fine. You can say those things. That's your subjective experience and your subjective opinion. There's nothing wrong with saying those things. You can say that. You can basically play all of the games that have been PS5 Pro enhanced, and you can say, I don't think it's worth it. That is totally fine if you've done the due diligence of being actually honest about, this is this much money, this is this much money, and here's the difference in what you get between the two of them. That's what you should be doing. Because that's what you would do with any other hardware. If you were comparing last series GPU to the new series GPU, that's what you would do. You would say, here's the current price point, here's this price point, and here's the power differences between them. That's what you would do. That's what you would do right now if you went and bought a pre-built PC. You'd have one at $1,000, you'd have one at $1,200, and you'd say, what am I getting that's different? You would do an assessment of the part differences. You wouldn't say, overpriced. What? How? How could you possibly come to that conclusion? How could you come to the conclusion that the $1,200 rig is overpriced versus the $1,000 rig? The only way you would come to that conclusion is by actually comparing what you're getting between the two. You'd have to do a breakdown. That's all you'd have to do. It's really simple. Do it with the television. This TV is $1,000. This TV is $1,200. What's the difference between them? Is it worth the $200? You can't say the $1,200 TV is too expensive. That's a negative. That's a con. Here's the pros. Here's the cons. You'd have to argue, here's what the $1,000 TV comes with. Here's what the $1,200 TV comes with. And we have decided that these differences in features are worth it or not worth it. But at least you would tell the consumer, this is what the difference is. Here's the differences. Here's the breakdown. Our opinion is that it's worth it. Our opinion is that it's not worth it. You can't just start with the presumption and the opinion that, yeah, it's expensive. It's too expensive. The price is a negative. Why? Tell me why. Argue why. I'm more interested in the why. The argument goes out the window when you already own the $500 one. I don't think it goes out the window because you can trade it in. You can trade it in. So let's say you can trade it in for somewhere between $200 and $300. Interestingly enough, what does that do? It brings the price of the PS5 Pro down to like the standard PS5 price, which means it's basically like you just buying another PlayStation 5, and yet you're somehow gaining performance. Like, trade-in has to be considered. Tons of people have been trading in. They've been trading in some of their older consoles that are just sitting around collecting dust. They're trading in their PS5s. They're trading in controllers. There are people trading in and getting the PS5 Pro down significantly in price. So, no, you can't just immediately dismiss, well, there's 60 million people with PS5s. Even still, what about the other 60 million that only have the PS4 still? What about all the people on PC that have mid-level rigs that are weaker than the Pro? Ghost in the Garage Gaming says, look at the difference in power and price between a 4060 and a 4090. Right. You would find breakdowns of the difference between a 4060 and a 4090, and they would break down price difference, power difference. You decide. Price difference, power difference. Here's what we think. Nobody is doing that with the Pro. Every review I read that went like high praise, but then they had to invoke price as a negative. It's like, but you didn't even give people a comparison. You didn't give people a comparison. It's still $700. Okay, you're not saying anything. Yes, it's still $700. But trade-in has to be considered. If you're going to invoke people who have a PS5 that can be traded in, that would be like you selling your parts from your PC to shave off the price of an upgrade. That has to be considered. That would be no different. It's very analogous to somebody like me who has like a 2080 Ti rig, and I could go in and only buy like one piece or one part. I'm getting a, what would that be like? That would be like a surplus of tech. I'm getting to carry some of the tech forward with me. Monitors, keyboard, mice, right? The tower, the power supply, maybe some of the new GPUs, I might need to get a new power supply, but you get the point, right? Like if I were to upgrade my PC, I'm getting to inherit a lot of technology that's already there. That's very similar to somebody who has a base PS5 and they look at upgrading to the Pro and they can trade in to shave down cost. It's the same as me saying, well, I'm going to upgrade my PC, but I'm only going to upgrade a few parts. That saves me money, does it not? That saves me money. My existing tech helps me save money. It's very similar. Personally, I think it's not worth it for a good 80% of the market of console gamers who don't really care. I mean, that you're just making up a figure. We're talking about COD, Minecraft, Fortnite players. Well, sure, which would then apply to virtually every piece of technology that comes out, Paul. A VR, a PS Portal, new GPUs. Like, that assessment... That's an assessment you could make about any piece of technology. Yeah, the vast majority of like people that are just like wanting to play another round of Candy Crush aren't interested in getting the absolute brand new iPhone. Like, yes, that's generally pretty true. That the average consumer is going to kind of stick with what they have a lot of the times. No, nobody's complaining about what people are spending their money on. No. I'm saying that I can't quite put my finger on it. I said it yesterday because there was a video of a guy who was like boasting about how he's getting the Pro for a lot less money than everybody else. And it's like a ton of people are getting the Pro for less money because they are trading in, right? You trading in and getting the thing for less money is that good? Good for you. I think that's a smart thing to do. I don't get why you would be nasty and like rub it in people's faces. Like, well, you spent more money than me. Like... Okay, and I said this yesterday. The PS5 Pro is just creating really, really weird energy. It's just weird energy. I don't get it. I'm like, why? Tech gets announced all of the time, doesn't it? Technology gets announced all the time. And the only other time I saw this happen was with the Apple, was it the Apple Vision, the thing you could wear, and people thought the price point was too high? I think that was a different conversation because it was like, number one, it's technology that we know is hard to get adoption rates into. Anything you're going to wear on your face. When I worked at Best Buy, I said the minute they started putting 3D televisions in, I said, nobody's going to buy these. Nobody's going to buy these. Nobody's going to want to have to put the glasses on. And even when you put the glasses on, like the benefit was so minuscule. It's like, ooh, it's like a little bit 3D. And guess what? They crashed and they burned. They didn't go anywhere, right? Anything you got to put on your face is going to make it a really, really hard adoption rate. So you tried to like add something to the market that largely wasn't there before, and you were asking a pretty steep price for it. The Pro isn't that. The Pro is an upgrade to an existing idea. It's just like when a new GPU comes out. It's like when a new iPhone comes out. It's like, here's something that's pre-existing in the market, and here's a better version, right? This happens with phones, GPUs, TVs, you name it, there's a better version coming, always, in tech. And this particular device has added and created some of the weirdest energy, some of the most bizarre takes that I've ever seen. It's like instead of doing what you would typically do with tech, and you would say, what's inside, right? Give me a hardware breakdown, okay? Now let's compare that hardware breakdown to the previous hardware breakdown, okay? And now let's compare the prices. That's what these outlets typically would do. They would break down, here's the spec sheet, here's the price point, here's the previous device's spec sheet, here's the previous device's price point. Let's see if we think this is worth it. Everybody just jumped to the conclusion. Too expensive. It's too much money. Oh, what? Okay. Can you show me the video where you broke down the hardware and compared? Can you show me that? Okay, if you've made that, can you compare that to other tech environments? Like we have a very easy, analogous situation. We can go right over here to PC and we can ask the question. If I were building a PC and I wanted to add all of the upgrades that are going from one to the other, I wanted to add more storage. I wanted to add a faster GPU. I wanted to add a little bit more memory. What's that going to cost me over here in PC land? Like, that would just be a very fair and intelligent breakdown of this is what you're getting. You can trade in your PS5 on PlayStation Direct. Yeah, you can do it on Direct as well. Yeah, people are... I saw somebody saying that they're getting more on PlayStation Direct now than GameStop. Likely because GameStop had so many people trading in, it drives down the trade-in value because then they're going to have too many. A $10 super chat tip from Hardcore Magnanimous Gentleman, and he bumps that super chat goal by 1. Hey, Reforge Gaming, some reviewers are claiming until you don't sit close enough to your TV and put your face on the TV while playing with the Pro, they did not feel any difference between the Pro and the base PS5. Listen, yes, these are the same outlets that are saying things that aren't true. These are the same outlets that are making it seem like, oh yeah, you can finally get 60 FPS. Like, oh, you got to get really close to your TV. No, you don't. No, you don't. All you have to do is boot up a game on the base PS5, and I want you to play for 1 hour, maybe less. Play for 20 minutes on quality mode. Play for 20 minutes on quality mode. Okay? And then I want you to go play that same game on the Pro, and I want you to boot up the Pro mode, where you get the quality, the fidelity, some of the ray tracing, but it's going to run at 60. And I want you to play for 20 minutes. And then I want you to go back and tell me with a straight face that you can't tell the difference. I don't trust anybody, and I mean this, heartfelt, I think they're lying. I don't trust anybody who says, I couldn't see a difference. If you're in this environment, if you're playing games, if you're in tech, and you're like, yeah, I couldn't see a difference, you're lying. I think they're a liar. Because it's like, you can clearly see the difference. You run quality mode over here, half the frame rate. It's choppy. You run over here with quality and fidelity and ray tracing at 60, and you're like, I don't see a difference. You need to get into another line of work or get your eyes checked, because I don't believe you. I think they're saying what they know they want, what people want to hear. It's like, I'll do you one better. Just run performance mode, and then run performance mode with the ray tracing and the quality. Like, look at the differences in, like, Spider-Man, for example. Saying that you don't see a difference, that's just a lie. It's not true. You may not think the difference is significant enough. That's fine. There's a difference between saying, like, I don't think the difference is significant enough. Okay, that's fine. Saying, I don't see a difference. No, I don't think you're telling the truth. Either that or you've got really bad eyeballs, because the differences are so stark. The differences are so stark. You don't have to think the differences are good enough. You don't have to think the price point's fair. None of that's what I'm talking about. Saying that I don't see the difference, that's not true. You're not telling the truth. You aren't. Saying, oh, it's too expensive, and you don't do a breakdown of the hardware differences between the two devices, I don't really care what you have to say. Because all you're doing is telling me what your opinion is on price point. You're not telling me an assessment of the thing's quality or power. John Always with 38 months. Surely the most relevant comparison would be the Pro versus the new 2TB Xbox. The two top spec consoles head to head. Thank you for the VIP, taking us to 108. Appreciate you for doing that. I get that some people have a harder time deducing frame rate differences. I get that. But anybody who reviews games for a living and plays games for a living that's gonna tell me I don't really see the difference, you got to get up close to the television, I'm like, okay, there's literally no reason to ever listen to you again. You either have very poor eyesight, you don't know what you're doing and your TV's configured poorly or something, or you're just being dishonest. In any one of those scenarios, I can't come to you for reliable feedback on game performance. Because if you have poor eyesight, you know, God love you, but I'm not going to come to you for breakdowns of game performance because you're going to have a harder time deducing the differences. You just are. if you've got your TV set up poorly, then why on earth would I come to you? Or if you're just being dishonest. Like, come on. What are we even talking about here? Fat Lump with 33 months and a member plus takes us to 109. To be fair, the new Xbox is never meant to be anything more than just a special edition Series X. Well, for sure, Jake, for sure. I don't want to do... I get what he's saying. He's saying it with like a little bit of a smirk. I think it would be disingenuous to like compare the Series X 2 terabyte, you know, to the PlayStation 5 Pro. What I think you should be doing is comparing the PlayStation 5 Pro to the base PS5. I think that's what you do. There's a base PS5 for $450. The Pro is $700. There's a $250 difference here. What am I getting for the $250? You have to bullet point all those things and ask the question. You have to ask the question, like, what am I getting for the $250? 1 terabyte of extra storage, a little extra RAM. Actually, it's a unique situation because the extra RAM is specifically designated for the operating system, freeing up more RAM for the devs to use. So you're getting more RAM in effect. A faster GPU. Like, you have to add all those things up. And then you can conclude, oh, I don't think it's worth the price. But you're going to have a harder time doing that because then if anybody did a comparable upgrade on PC, you would be like, oh, wow, that seems like a pretty fair price for the upgrade. Oh, I forgot about Wi-Fi 7. Not that a lot of people are going to be using Wi-Fi 7, but a lot of people are in a situation where they have to use Wi-Fi. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate is $26.99 on Steam, deck verified. I was going to play that this weekend with my son. I'm going to kind of chill and see where the reviews land. It is available now. It's on sale. Cool little game that finally has landed somewhere other than the Nintendo Switch and mobile. Little rogue co-op rogue Ninja Turtles game. Yeah, I'm not even arguing PS5 Pro versus PC anymore because that argument is ridiculous. Every single one of those people that said all those things and misled everybody, and you know, you want to make fun of me or clip me, that's fine. I await your comparisons. I await those $700 PCs being compared to the Pro. I can't wait for them to spend their own hard-earned money on these really amazing $700 PCs and pit them against the Pro. That argument is dead and in the water because none of these people are going to do that. And the very few outlets that do, it's going to be definitively proven that a $700 PC can't even keep up with the Pro. And these people are going to look stupid, okay? And it's what they deserve because they're dishonest. So I'm not even doing that. I'm setting that aside. That argument was dumb from jump. That argument was absolutely intellectually bankrupt from 0 seconds that it started. I'm done with that argument. I'm asking the question, if you were building a rig and you wanted to increase storage by a terabyte, add a little bit more memory, a 40-something% faster GPU, what would that cost you? I don't care what you're spending on the rig. Let's just say you're spending $1,000. What would it cost you to do that? Yo, Matthew Coates does a VIP. All member pluses and VIPs that are upgrades or new count as 2. That's 111 on the week. Welcome in, Matthew Coates. If you guys want to support the stream directly, consider becoming a member. We do a goal every week for members. This is both renewals, this is gifteds, this is new, this is upgrades. When we hit 500, we'll do a celebration stream Friday night. We'll celebrate my birthday. We'll do some Fright Night with Madam again. That was really fun. We'll do some stuff Friday afternoon as well. I'll do both so that people that can't be here Friday night get to celebrate as well. All right? We're not going to ban him for asking a question. Should I get a PC with the 4080 Super or the Pro? I want the best quality gaming. Czar, I can't answer your question without asking questions. Are you already firmly rooted in the PC world? Do you have a huge Steam library? Do you prefer playing on PC? Do you already have the monitor and the keyboard and the mouse? Do you prefer to play on your couch? Do you have an existing library with PlayStation? We need to know this about you before we can give you advice on what to buy. You could spend more money on a PC and get more value out of it than the person spending less money on the Pro. It depends on the consumer. It's not an easy question to answer because every consumer is different. Hardcore magnanimous gentleman going to continue helping the Super Chat goal by himself says, I'll be getting a PS5 Pro tomorrow, even though I sit 10 feet away from my TV, and I hope the reviewer who's claiming you have to sit close is wrong. Homie, you're going to play games that previously had to turn off ray tracing and fidelity, and you're going to be able to turn that on and maintain 60. You're going to see the difference. You're going to. Anybody saying they're not seeing the difference, I just don't think they're being honest. Listen, this is something that was happening in the wake of the Mark Cerny video, Hardcore. This is something that was happening. There were people circulating screenshots of The Last of Us, and they're like, I don't see a difference. Do you want to know why they didn't see a difference? Because they're dumb. That's why. They're dumb. That's the nicest word I can use. They're dumb. Either that or they're being willfully dishonest, and that's worse than being dumb. I'd take a dumb person over a willfully dishonest person. The Last of Us showcase during the Mark Cerny video was showing you games at the same level of fidelity and lighting, and one was at a higher frame rate. That's the level of intelligence you're dealing with when someone says, I got to get close to the TV to see the difference. Oh my. Lord, bear me strength to be kind to these people. That's not the point. The point is, from the minute Mark Cerny opened his mouth, the point is, you can pick fidelity and even get some ray tracing and still get 60 frames per second. You don't have to choose between the two anymore. That's the point of the Pro. So anybody saying, I don't really see a difference in a screenshot, I don't really see a difference unless I get really, really close to my television, you're either dumb or dishonest. One's worse than the other. The point is not that, like, you're going to get a bunch of more fidelity and the pixels are going to be amazing and your eyeballs are going to bleed and the lights are going to twinkle and the ray tracing is going to be amazing. No. You're supposed to get those things and not sacrifice performance. That's the point of the device. Everybody who keeps making it about that, they're either being intentionally dishonest, which means you should ignore them, or they're dumb. I don't know how you can listen to what Cerny said and lose the plot that quickly. How do you lose the plot that fast? Hey, up to now, you've had to choose between fidelity and fidelity with ray tracing. You'd have to choose between fidelity and performance. You can't get both. We're going to give you both. So here's two games running at the same fidelity, and you'll notice the one on the right has smoother frame rate, smoother player animations. And people do a freeze frame and they're like, I don't see a difference. I mean, you're speed running losing the plot. Jiminy Christmas. How? How do you lose the plot in record time? He quite literally tells you what you should be seeing. And people are like, oh, I did a freeze frame and I zoomed in on it and I don't really see a difference. Did you watch it with the audio off? Did you mute the video? How about you bring out your PS5 Pro and compare it to your PS5 when it comes out to you? Why would I need to do that? There are wonderful side-by-side comparisons available right now for you to watch. Are you in need of assistance of finding those videos? Hang on, I just accidentally pinned a comment. That is not what I meant to do. Will Hancock gifts a member. 112 members on the day. All you guys are scared of gifting members because you don't want somebody to get it who's going to be nasty or mean. Guys, we can't be afraid of that. We've got to not let these days be so skittish. I know there's people with their bad faith, but like for the most part, a lot of the people in chat are being really nice. And then a single comes in from Stone Spire and takes us to 113, and another single comes in from Stone Spire and takes us to 114. He's going to try to tempt the 10 bomb to 125. Like, I don't need to do that. And another one comes in from Stone Spire, takes us to 115. There are an insane amount of videos available right now. There are tons of videos right now. Do you want to see a side-by-side comparison? of, you want to see a side-by-side comparison of any of the games on the Pro versus the standard PS5? You can do it right now. You don't need me to do it. There are people that are far more qualified. They're way better at it, and they got the little frame rate bar across the bottom. Go watch those videos. It isn't difficult to see the difference. It isn't. And Belfagor with a 5 gifted member bomb. These guys are asking for some help. They're like, come on, boys, let's band together. And another 5 bomb from Frank. Little 5 train could be starting. We'll see how long it lasts. 125. I owe you guys 5 members. It is getting warm in here. I'm checking the weather outside. Good gracious. We might need to bump the air. I bumped it yesterday because the house was getting cold, and it might need bumped out. Nope, it's only 68 degrees outside. We're in that wonderful middle of the... What is this game? Polaris? Exclusive multiplayer development build? I don't know what that is. And a 10 bomb from David N. David N says, let's upgrade this member train. He has been so generous to the channel. He finally got his blue badge. He was a brand new member. Gifting members with the white badge. This guy's been so faithful. Thank you, David N. I read somewhere that Sony are reworking on audio quality, especially for PS5 Pro users who have home theater and soundbar. Oh, Czar says, I already have a PS5. I just want to get a PC, but connected with my TV and a controller. Please help. Graphics look bad on PS5. That's why it shows a 4080 Super build. If you think that the graphics look bad on the PS5, I don't know if the 4080 Super build is going to... I don't know if it's going to completely change your mind. I don't know. It sounds like you're baiting. It doesn't sound like you're genuinely inquiring. If you think the PS5 Pro has bad graphics, then I would invest in a much higher level rig. I'd shoot for the moon if I were you. Because the PS5 delivers very consistent and good graphics in like all of their first party games, as well as games like Stellar Blade. Like I don't if those graphics aren't good for you, then you need to go up quite a bit more, I would say, than where you're shooting. Yo, welcome back, E. Hernandez. If you want your renewals to count, you need to be at a member plus like Clevelando. Thank you so much, Clevelando, for renewing your membership up to 136. Guys, keep the member train going. We are really far behind on the week. I gift every 25. We're going to do a big celebration on Friday night. A birthday celebration. But you guys got to hit the goal. And also, you can gift members via Super Chat. Just keep doing Super Chats, and eventually I gift as well. There's other ways to support. I know some of you guys don't like doing gifteds, and that's okay. PC guy here. Sorry to warn you, there's no such thing as parody. Hang on one second. Sorry, I had to sneeze. There's also only so much you're going to get in return graphically. Fidelity and performance, sure. My opinion is right. Reforge is recommended for mid-range PC to upgrade to PS5 Pro since he says it's better value, but you can upgrade your mid-range PC with 700 instead of wasting it on the Pro. Okay, I think the problem with what you're saying is, Zero Sam, you don't know if that's true. You know, the average person has a mid-level PC and down. You've got to go all the way down to the bottom, okay? You got to go all the way down to the bottom. So mid-range and down. You don't know what $700 is going to do for them because they're all across a different spectrum. Like right now, I have a 2080 Ti rig, and I can run pretty much every single one of the PlayStation 5 ports at virtually identical quality to my PlayStation 5. Identical quality. I'm running them at like 1440, 60. I can maybe get a little bit better of the lighting out of them, you know. I'm not seeing monstrous differences with my 2080 rig versus my PS5 when I played Horizon Forbidden West or God of War, any of those games, okay? didn't see monstrous differences. And Sneaky Wolf of the 5 bomb says, keep the member train going, boys. Don't slow down. I'll owe you more at 150. Keep it going. Excuse me. I'm trying not to, like, it's that time of year where, like, the weather changes. I try not to be, like, sniffing and sneezing on the mic. Right now, if I wanted to upgrade this rig to a rig that could consistently give me 4K 60 with ray tracing, using upscaling's not the devil, like some of these people will now tell you, because they're liars and they change the goalpost to fit a narrative so they can make money. I would, if I wanted to go up to 4K with ray tracing and 60, I don't think I would get there for $700. I don't. I'm right in the middle. Sheriff Bruce Lee keeps the train going, and another 5 members takes us to 146. Thank you, Sheriff Bruce Lee. Like, I'm in the middle right now. I've got a rig that's like 4 and 5 years old. I'm not getting there for $700. What you're saying is simply not true. You have an existing rig that's not being counted in the cost. That's the other thing not being computed in the cost, for sure. And Stone Spire's going to walk us all the way there. He just did 2 singles and got us to 148. The man. The man. Yeah, that's the problem, is nobody ever wants to take the full scope of the argument. And 2 more come in from Stone Spire and gets us to 150. I owe you guys 5 more. We are moving and grooving now. Don't stop. Don't slow down. I appreciate you guys so much. When are you supposed to get your PS5? I mean, they should be showing up tomorrow. I got my first shipping thing, like my shipping email, like last night, and it says estimated time of arrival is tomorrow. Which, based on where I live in the city and when UPS typically shows up, it'll probably be in the afternoon. People are just trying to cope and love to hate because they're mad the PS5 Pro is such a good value and has PC performance. Tell them again tomorrow and they still won't understand. And a 5 bomb from Belphegor. Belphegor really faithfully keeping the member train alive. That's an agent of chaos. And that right there, let's see if you can tempt one of the big boys. A 20 bomb would get us to 175. They haven't shown up yet this week. We'll see, Belphegor. You put the bait in the water. We'll see. He said a 2080 Ti. Yeah, I have a 2080 Ti rig right now. I built it 4 or 5 years ago. If I wanted to upgrade this rig to consistently get the performance that the Pro is touting, I wouldn't do it for $700. There's no frickin' way. If I just wanted to upgrade my GPU, I'm not buying a GPU upgrade for this rig for $700. What he said is ridiculous. The vast majority of the PC user base is on a mid-level rig and down. That's the majority. That's the majority. They're not upgrading their rig to the power of the Pro for $700. Stop believing people who are committed to some weird toe-the-party line, dishonest propaganda. I don't get it. Just be honest. I don't care where you play. If you want to use a controller Bluetoothed on your phone and you mobile game, cool. If you PC, cool. If you're on a laptop, cool. Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, I don't care. Just be honest. David N with the $5 super chat gets us to 3 out of 10 on the super chat goal. Thank you. I'm just sad I can't find a disk drive add-on for my Pro at retail. GameStop requires Pro membership to get one. I mean, what's Pro membership cost? Can you sign up and cancel? Isn't it like $15 for the year or something? No Man's Sky confirmed to support 8K res on the Pro. Yeah, I saw that. They put $700 back into my account. I was so confused. I was expecting a shipped email confirmation, not $700 with no word. Why would they refund you if they already charged you? That's really weird. Sometimes if you have like outdated credit card information on your account, they'll go to charge you and the charge will fail, and then they'll typically email you and tell you that the charge failed. Right? Like, they'll tell you, hey, you know, we tried to charge your card and it didn't work. And then you would go in and you would say, oh, I need to update my stuff. Right? I've never seen a refund. I don't know why they would refund you. Oh, it's $25 for the membership? Jiminy Christmas. That's kind of lame. I knew when the scalpers started scooping them up, it was going to cause a problem. I knew it was going to cause a problem. Yeah, right now, the second PlayStation 5 Pro that I ordered is awaiting pickup from the carrier. So they created the label. So I'm just assuming there's going to be like a whole run where they're going to pick them all up. The money's been gone for a week? I mean, they only should have charged you last week. Oh, that's probably what you mean. Yeah, I think they started charging people last week. We need to get Lono a Make Xbox Great Again hat. No, I don't think I would wear that. Not because of Xbox, but because of everything else attached to. Yeah, we don't even dip our toes in that water here. They charged my card, still says preparing to ship. What's interesting is the first one I ordered, I was one of the first people in that day in North America as they were rolling out the regions, and I still don't have my shipping email. My second one that I ordered is where I got the shipping email. Now listen, I told you guys, I was told by a little birdie that internally they communicated within PlayStation. They said that the demand for the PS5 Pro on PlayStation Direct, it exceeded their expectations. It did. It exceeded their expectations. They didn't expect it. So we could be facing some logistical problems now that they're on the other side and they're trying to fulfill all these orders. And they're like, because it's like they're working backwards. It's like I ordered the second one hours later on a different account, and that's the one that's got a shipping label. And the one that I ordered first, I don't have a shipping notification yet. I checked it this morning. It still said preparing to ship. Somebody used the question command. Let me see. Jamal for Prez says, have you checked out Raven's Watch? I have not checked out Raven's Watch. I believe that's coming to console like end of November, is it not? Raven's Watch console release date. They just had their 1.0. Yeah, it's coming to PC, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox One on November the 28th. They had their 1.0 on Steam. I want to see if the score got any better. By the way, we played this game last night called Magic Craft. All one word, Magic Craft. Like the word magic and craft, but just one C in the middle. This is a little rogue, just came out. It's super creative. The meta progression and the ability for you to combine spells and have different wands. This thing is super creative. Let's see how it's doing. It came out November the 1st, so it came out 6 days ago. It has an 89% overall. If you like these little games like this, it's got 7,000 reviews, so it's doing well. It just had their 1.0. Check this game out. Very cool. I played a lot of these games recently, and the combination of spells and modifiers is so cool because you can continue to swap things around. I was constantly moving things around and trying out different combinations. So check out Magic Craft. Let's see where Raven's Watch landed. There it is. I feel like it had rough scores when it first hit 1.0. It is now at a 79, mostly positive. So it looks like they've slowly turned things around. Yeah, the negative reviews were sharper in the beginning in October, and they've tapered down a little bit. They have. So the appeal of Raven's Watch is that it's co-op. Yeah, that's the appeal. I don't like the phone comparison because most people aren't shelling out $1,000 up front for their phone. They pay over time. So what difference does it make? They're still spending that much money. I recommend you get the DualSense charger with all those controllers you have now. It'll be worth the $30. Talica sent me one. I have like the double dock where you set it on the dock, like one on each side. Guys, do me a quick favor. We've been live for about an hour and a half. Smash that like button. Let's get to 300 likes. We can easily do that right now. And double check. Hit the $ at the bottom of the chat. You may have a renewal to celebrate. It adds to the goal. We're trying to hit 500 before Friday evening, and we'll do a big fun Friday night. It's no difference than using a credit card. Yeah, you use a credit card and you pay off the card slowly. It looks like first parties are going to benefit beautifully. All right, let's take a look at what Lido found here. What is this? So we're looking at a dynamic 2160/60 with PSSR. Yeah, you guys would have to look at this on your own. You're not going to see the image quality difference. So sitting here in front of my monitor, the middle one, performance mode, the character almost looks slightly fuzzy and out of focus. And over here, it's like they actually hit the focus button on him. Like he's crisp, he's sharpened up, and then you're getting 60. So all the way over here on quality mode, you're getting 2160, but you're getting 30 frames per second. So they're doubling the frames, right? Your image is nice and sharp because of that resolution. Now the resolution dynamic is only dropping to 1548 because of PSSR. That's pretty impressive. So like that, you're getting that nice bump and you're still maintaining your 60. That's Demon's Souls Remake. Is Showa the best upcoming game? Oh, I mean, I think it looks funny and fun, but I don't know if it's the best upcoming game. I have a 120 hertz and VRR capable, but no 1440. Should I get decent pro quality with my Pro? I'm picking mine up tomorrow. I'm confused. Wait, you have a 120 hertz capable television with VRR, but not 1440? That doesn't make any sense to me. What are you describing when you say that? Amazon UK. Yeah, why was somebody telling me earlier that the UK price for the Pro was more? It's £700. What is £700 to USD? Oh, it's $900. Okay. What's £386 to USD? $497. So 500. It's a $400 difference. It's a 400 USD difference in price in the UK. For us, it's a $250 difference, and for you guys, it's 400. I mean, even the base PS5 is more expensive for you guys. It's the base PS5 digital is $50 more for you than for us over there. Like I don't know what to tell you. Sounds like a low-end TV. Some of them skip 1440. It's 1080 or 4K. Is Returnal getting a patch? I certainly hope so. There's been no official word on Returnal. There's been no official word on Final Fantasy 16. PS5 Pro Enhanced Games has an actual list of games now on the PlayStation. So every single time somebody gets the label, it'll get added to that list. In the UK, the price tax is included. Oh, that's right. You guys always pay the tax included in the price, and we pay it after. Guys, double check right now, really quickly. We needed like 20-something likes earlier, and we still do. I don't know if YouTube's being weird. Make sure it's counting your like, because we still need like 27. Try to get us to 300 likes. We have almost 600 people here, so double check that it's still working, because the other day it still does that, where like I hit like and it doesn't save. The PlayStation 5 console digital model slim. Oh, that's euros. Yeah. 450 euros to 800 euros. What's going on? The government doing at the table isn't helping the consumer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any way to speak to why you guys are having to pay so much more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an expert in global economic currency rates. It's just like, Canada's always more expensive. UK and the euro and the yen, you guys are all paying more. I don't know what to say to that other than, yeah, it sucks, but you got to imagine if you want to go to PlayStation and act like, well, that's just them being greedy. There's got to be other factors at play than we're just going to be greedy and squeeze the UK and Japan and Canada. Like, you have to know that when the price jumps like that for you guys and the currency exchange is so poor, you have to know that that hurts their ability to sell the item. I don't think they're, like, thrilled about these situations. Always baffled me that Americans got to do an equation after the fact. It also depends on the state that you live in, Mulem, because, like, state sales tax is, like, different state to state, and they fluctuate. Because there was a time some states were much higher and some of them have come down. Hilly says it makes the PS5 Slim a much better deal here. Right, which PlayStation's probably totally fine with because they've got 60 million PlayStation 5s in circulation, and they, I'm assuming, want to continue to sell them. So revised video is still in the works, but here's the PlayStation 5 Pro console review for Eurogamer. They must have forgot something or left something out of their Digital Foundry video. That's so weird. I think they've been really pressed for time. They've been cranking out so many videos. It's just unbelievable. It's kept them good and busy over there. It's exchange rate and currency, nothing to do with the PlayStation themselves. It sucks, but it's the world economy. I know America's a massive country, but what is like an average tax applied to the price of the Pro? Just curious. So where I live, they sent me my final invoice, and so I'll tell you. All right. I paid $42 in tax where I live. So it came to $742. Yo, Gavin, with 16 months of memberships, Pro in the EU is $858 USD, UK 901, Canada 689, Australia 789 at current exchange rates. Thank you, Gavin. I appreciate that. OMG, don't charge things to your credit card and pay it off slowly over time. I mean, I wasn't advocating for that. We use ours like a debit card. We put everything on it and then pay it off. You know, put everything on it and then pay it off. And then we get like Amazon points. So anytime we're buying something for the kids or groceries or anything, gas, you know, and then you just every 28 days, boom, clear it. Boom, clear it. I think Digital Foundry is doing Sony a big favor for free. They didn't need to put out a long in-depth video. Somebody's saying that the Pro is not $858 in Europe. Wasn't he saying USD? Like 800 euro to USD is $858. He's saying that the euro to USD, 6% in Kentucky's not bad. Yeah, our sales tax isn't terrible, but we have personal income tax that always kind of. I always end up paying the state more than the Fed. I always end up paying the state more than the Fed. So this lower sales tax, I guess maybe it's a wash. I don't know. Hamilton County, where Cincinnati sits, had a special sales tax increase to pay for the Bengals Red Stadium. Next county's over, we're 0.5% less. Jeepers. Yeah, he was putting in USD. Isn't the euro price including tax? Yes, but still, I paid $742 with tax. It sounds like Europeans going to spend in the spending in euros. You're going to spend $858, so you're spending over $100 more USD, over $100 more USD. We're both including the taxes. $742 versus, $858 USD. So, yeah, $120 more roughly. I don't know what to tell you. It's more. It's more, and it's a bummer. I mean, this happens all the time with when prices of games went up. People in other regions were like, "Yeah, we're paying more than you, though. We're paying more than you, though." And I'm like, "Well, I can't do anything about that. I don't think these companies can do anything about it." Taxes don't count. Right. I mean, if you take the taxes out, they're still spending more, though, Tommy. They're still spending more. How much do you pay for an ambulance? It depends. It depends on the insurance that you have. It depends on if it was an actually if it was a real emergency or not. Yeah, we don't need to get into all that. The only thing that will defeat the PS5 Pro, yeah, that Shark PC. I saw the sneaker PC. Yeah. 1050 including tax in BC, Canada, 12% sales tax. Jeepers. You're paying double sales tax compared to me. That's a lot. By the way, guys, you guys can always do this throughout the show now. If you are a member, whether it's a gifted member or a paid member, it doesn't matter. You can submit questions with the question command, and I'll pop them up on screen. That's a nice feature of becoming a member. Always go through the ritual of making sure you've hit the like button. Double check that you don't have a membership renewal to hit. And going into Thursday and Friday, you guys are going to have a bit of a summit to climb. You guys did this last week, so we can do it again, obviously. But the goal is going to elude us this week if we're not, if we wait too long. I'm still holding out on the KFC console. I remember those. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that an April Fool's tweet that they sent out or whatever? What headset do you recommend for the PS5? I mean, I use the Bose Quiet Comfort headphones, and they're Bluetooth, they're noise canceling, but you can use the cable. And I just plug right into the bottom of the controller if I'm in the office and don't want to have to turn all of my stuff on. So we've actually tagged those before, which I can do right now. YouTube has a tagging process to where I can tag products, and then if you click it and you buy it, it supports me. Earn a performance bonus. Hang on. Bose Quiet Comfort. Ooh, the Quiet Comfort blue ones are on sale right now. Let me tag those. And then if you guys refresh and click that tagged product down below, that is that supports me. Okay. It's saying we can get for Pete's sakes. They're like, you can get a bonus. And it's like, yeah, how? Please tag a $700 PC. That's what I should do. Yeah, I was like, everybody that doesn't want to get a Pro, just click the tagged product below, you know? The control strong enough to drive those headphones with good volume? Is the controller strong enough to drive those headphones with good volume? What? What do you mean? Oh, I don't know. I would imagine when I have the headphones plugged in that's going to I would imagine that's going to lower the battery life of the controller faster. Yeah, the Bose Quiet Comfort headphones right now, if you don't mind buying the blue, they're $200. They're marked down to $200, and then the blacks are $229. They're $230. There's also an affiliate link in the description of the video, guys. You can always use my Amazon affiliate link with all the upcoming sales and Cyber Mondays and stuff. Be sure to click that link. I just put it in the chat as well. That supports me, you know. You're not going to get a discount, but hey, if you're shopping on Amazon, you know, you can always click that link before you do your shopping. I don't really say that or cover that all that often. You know, we got all kind of ways you can support the channel. Coffee orders, affiliate links and stuff like that. We mainly focus on the memberships because that's kind of the primary way that we kind of keep this machine going here. Watch the new Digital Foundry video. They are praising how the boost mode is increasing FPS and making the game so much smoother. No mention of image quality. Yeah, they went to one of the worst examples, which is Elden Ring, and the PS5 Pro the PS5 Pro seems to be helping quite a bit with Elden Ring. And Elden Ring's one of the worst examples. Like, it really is. It's one of the worst examples. It's like they've had frame rate issues with that game for a super long time. What was the command for questions again? All commands function the exact same way. It's just exclamation point and then question. And then put a space and then type your question. If you want to see the Discord, the Amazon wish list, the P.O. box, any of that stuff, you know, there are commands for all those things. Oh, they re-uploaded the video? Okay, good. I don't know. I'm curious as to what issue or what they left out or what was wrong with the first upload. I'm waiting to hear the sales stats for the Pro, as it will be very interesting how many people want to get it, but I know I'll have to wait a few months. Yeah, obviously we'll wait and see what the earnings report said. Like I said, I was told by a little birdie that internally they saw higher demand than they were expecting on PlayStation Direct. Yeah. Stone Spire with a question. You guys see how he typed that question in chat? You can do that, and then it pops up right here. He says, will we be seeing your PS5 Pro test with Final Fantasy 16 in the green room? Yes. I wish that Digital Foundry would have tested Final Fantasy 16. Like, testing Elden Ring is great, but why not test one of the more egregious exclusives for PlayStation 5 with respect to performance, which was Final Fantasy 16? Like, what does Game Boost do for FF16? Like, so yes, that's going to be one of the first games I'm testing. That and Black Myth Wukong. The little bird is Herman Holst. Yes, yeah. Me and Herman Holst are commonly talking to each other. Yes. So, and there we go. Lone Wolf's going to submit a question. Again, guys, this is a great reason to become a member or gift some members. So if you've never become a member on YouTube before, give it a try. You click join, $6 a month, pick Member Plus for $6 the entire month, all 4 weeks. Anytime I'm doing a stream with my wife or gameplay or a behind the scenes stream, you get access to all of that as well as our Discord. So if you've never done a membership before, consider trying it out. And you can do something like this as well during the live streams. Lone Wolf says, assuming that you keep enjoying Veilguard, what's the max number of hours you think you'll put in? I think it'll be on the longer side. Once I get to 25 hours, I want a game to wrap it up. Right? He's going to answer my question. I knew it. Right. It's coming. I knew it. Yeah, once a game hits 25 hours, I'm ready to wrap it up. Now, there are obvious exceptions to this. Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal and Helldivers 2 are games that I played for significantly more than that. Understandably, Helldivers 2 is a live service game, but Returnal, I put in a ton of time into both the base game, beating it. I beat the base game of Returnal like 2 or 3 times, and then I've done Tower of Sisyphus a bunch, and then, you know, Helldivers, and then Ghost of Tsushima was ridiculous. Elden Ring was a ridiculous amount of hours, right? So if Veilguard, to just complete the main story and some side quests here and there, if it's going to take longer than 25 to 30 hours, I don't know. What are people saying it takes to complete that game? Just straight line versus completionist. I just start to check out. I'm like, dude, I've gotten my fill of this. I don't think most games are built to go beyond 25 to 30 hours. It's like, it's not built for that. It just starts to wear thin. It's like, yeah, I've seen and heard what I want to see and hear. I'm good. I'm ready for the story to wrap. I'm ready for credits to roll. So, Deity Anubis is going to use the member feature. What's your most anticipated game for the Pro? After Final Fantasy 16 and like Black Myth Wukong, probably Ghost of Yotei. I think Ghost of Yotei, because Ghost of Tsushima is one of my like all-time favorite games, and I really want to see what that thing looks like on the Pro, the sequel that is. You know, that's going to be a game that will likely launch and at launch be, you know, be Pro enhanced. That would be my hope. Is that Yote's like really, really enhanced and has some great features and you know, cool upticks in lighting and performance and stuff. Ignore my question, wasn't quick enough. Oh, you asked the same question here. I'll pop you up on the screen though. What game are you looking forward to the most playing on the Pro? Yeah. Well, see, yours is a little bit different though. What am I looking forward to playing the most would be like this week. Well, that's Final Fantasy 16. I can't say Ghost of Yote. That's super far out. So, like, if you're asking me, Cat Uncle, like, just this week, like, what are you diving into first? FF16, baby. Like, come on. Make that performance mode not trash, please. You know? That to me is the one game that, like, I was having such a good time with it. You know? It changed on the store. Silent Hill 2. Yeah, Silent Hill 2 is now Pro Enhanced. Mm-hmm. The one that we were the most worried about, at least I was the most worried about, was Until Dawn. And they recently got a patch adding performance mode, because Until Dawn's remake was launched capped at 30, and they had the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. So I had people come to me and they were like, did you know this? And I was like, no, because I've been very adamant. I have been very adamant. I've said, listen, you cannot give somebody the label. You can't give somebody the label if they're capped at 30. That's ridiculous. Can't do it. This is what How Long to Beat is saying for main story, leisurely, 25 hours. Main story with extras, 75. So they're adding another 50? Whew. Okay. It looks like I can do the main story and not rush, play a little bit leisurely, maybe grab a side quest here and there, and probably land in the 25 to 30 hour range. I should be able to do it. I believe in Harvey Dent. I think I can do it. My biggest concern with Veilguard is that I'm going to tap out on the combat, you know? That's my biggest concern, is I'm going to tap out on that combat. You know? Because I love the combat, but if if these enemies keep teleporting and disappearing, maybe not. That gets annoying. I am going to increase my camera sensitivity, and that might help. The camera sensitivity is a little snug on the default, and I haven't messed with that yet, so... A question coming in from Jade. I know the whole point of this is for 4K 60 on fidelity, but what does it do for high-end monitors that include VRR and 120? Well, I don't know, because I don't think you're the target yet. Right? Why intentionally put yourself through Veilguard? Because I'm enjoying it. Surprise, surprise, people enjoy things that you might not. I don't think this is for you yet. Primarily. So the PSSR leak, and like the goal of PSSR is to hit 4K 60, 8K 30. Like that's their hope, is that that's some of the cool things they can do. On their future console, they're hoping that PSSR can deliver 4K 120 and 8K 60. So, excuse me. So, I don't think if you're really wanting 120, you're not the target yet. I had a bunch of people hop on my tweet this morning, and that was the first thing they brought up. Oh, you're going to get 120? I'm like, listen, like, I hate to break this to you, but you don't even register on the pie chart if you're a gamer who wants 120. I'm not trying to be mean and dismissive. If you take all of console gaming, all of PC gaming, and you want to slice out a piece of the pie that's consistently playing games at 120 or above and wants that, you are nothing in the grand scheme of things. You just aren't. The majority of PC users don't have a rig that can do that consistently. Consoles are not doing that consistently. So, listen, it all comes down to numbers, right? You're not going to have a company prioritize that teeny tiny microscopic slice of the community. Well, we got to give them 120. You might get some games that like the performance mode can get uncapped, or maybe they can add an uncapped mode. Because like maybe you don't care about the ray tracing, maybe you don't care about the fidelity, you just want that 120. Maybe you can get more of those 40 FPS 120 modes. Maybe they can start to give you like what Eugene's saying, like a performance 1080 120 mode where like maybe they're running it at 40 or something. I just don't think you're going to see that be a strong priority from a lot of developers. I really don't, because there's not enough of you. There aren't a bunch of you out there for somebody to say, well, we really need to add this. This is going to be a really, really big value add for our consumer. When it's like, well, for what consumer? Like, how many consumers are beating down the door and saying they need 120? A small amount. A small amount. And that's not meant to be a slam. I just think that, like, I've talked about this before with like the PC Master Race guys. And the PC Master Race guys constantly talk like they have the best graphics card in the market. Right? And they don't a lot of the times. And if they do, they have a hard time understanding that they're not the target for almost anything. Like, as a consumer, you're just not the target for almost anything. There's not enough of you. Games aren't targeting what you can do and the performance levels that you really, really want to push. Well, I want this and I want that and I want this and I want that. And it's like, it's great that you're buying into like cutting edge tech, and it's great that you want to push everything as far as you can, and you want to tinker. You want to fiddle. You want to adjust and tweak. That's great, man. That's great. More power to you. I think what's weird about this is, you know, there are people that will tinker with their cars and fiddle with them and take them apart and, you know, add things and, you know, and they like to do that. I don't know if I've ever encountered a guy that does that talks down to everybody who doesn't. Well, you know that you're not getting the absolute best gas mileage. You gotta do. It's like, what? They just do it because they enjoy it. There's something weird going on where people are no longer engaging with hobbies for the enjoyment. They're engaging with hobbies so that they can co-opt some identity online. You know what I mean? It's like they're wanting to put on a Halloween costume all year round and be like, it's like they're cosplaying all of the time. It's like people that really enjoy a hobby enjoy the hobby for the hobby's sake. I don't think this is just gaming, but I think gaming and sports is kind of trending into this. It's like you seem to be engaging in this hobby for some weird co-opted identity. It's like you're cosplaying. We're the PC Master Race. What the frick are you even saying? Like, what does that even mean? It's weird behavior, right? Well, you're a pony. You're an X-bot. Well, okay. Let's set the labels aside. Why are you engaging with the hobby? What are you getting out of it? You know, what does it do for you? If you truly enjoy it, and it just gives you a thrill to go in and fiddle with settings and tweak things and maximize your performance, and you're looking at the frames and all of that, and you love that. I think that's great. I think that's cool. I would never do that. Waldo Emerson is attributed for saying, every man is a genius in an area that I am not, and in that way I learned from him. The idea that, like, there is a guy that fixed my plumbing. He was a genius in that environment, and I'm not. The chasm between us, his knowledge of how to fix my problem and my lack of knowledge, he's a genius compared to me, right? The guy who fixes my car, the guy who, you know, does my lawn, or, you know, anybody in the trades or anybody in any line of work, you know, somebody who is taking PCs apart and updating them and fixing them and troubleshooting them, right? I got a local business I can take my PC to and be like, can you figure out what's wrong with this thing, right? the chasm of difference between me and them. It's like, this person is a genius compared to me in this environment. Everybody is a genius in some area. They're an expert at something. There's something that they know way more than you do. And it's like, I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome. HVAC tech here. Yeah, an HVAC tech, you're a genius compared to me in that environment. Do you want to know why? In 5 minutes time, you could explain something. You could explain what you're fixing, what you're checking, what's broken, what's not broken. You could do that in 5 to 10 minutes. What that is you're taking all these disparate elements, all these different things, and you're disseminating into, yeah, this is the problem, this is the thing, this is the... That's, I don't have any of that. There's no way I could do that. I could go and try and study it and watch videos, but I wouldn't come close to your ability and your adeptness and skill. I'd be like, well, I don't know what the frick's going on. It said to check this. It said to take this out. Whatever. I changed the filter. So, in the realm of hobby, I think people would enjoy the hobby more if they saw it as, this is something that I enjoy and I love and I want to become, as knowledgeable as I can, and then you could be then viewed as, oh wow, you're a genius in this area compared to me. Not a literal genius, right? It's a comparison. It's like, comparison's the thief of joy, but I believe comparison can actually be a source of great connection, because it's like, you are so much better at this than me and know so much more than me. That's awesome. Let's share in that knowledge instead of it being like a source of identity, pride, and ego. And when you do that, I think you basically move all of the potential connections and cartilage between us, and you remove all that from the room. And now we're enemies and I don't know why. It's like, well, now we're enemies because you like something that I don't, and you enjoy something that I don't. I don't understand. I don't know what the tension point, where this changed, where this hinge turned, but it's just been really, really interesting to watch. When we get to April of next year, I will have been doing live streaming and YouTube content for 10 years, for an entire decade. And the last 3 to 4 years has been, to me, almost mystifying of, where did this come from? I don't know. It truly, at some level, it bothers me. I don't like it because I feel like it hijacks so much of what could be, profitable and enjoyable and productive. So at some level, it's frustrating, but at other levels, it's kind of discouraging. It's like, I end up looking at people and I think, like, what a pitiful way to experience something that's supposed to bring you joy. Weaponizing it and turning it into something toxic and turning it into something malicious and wicked and being like, well, you're a this and you're a that. It's, to me, I end up feeling sorry. Like, when I really zoom out and think about it, it's like, it's just pitiful, and it could be better. And I don't exactly know how to chart the course of making the dialogue around it better, but I think everybody's very tired. The impression I get from here and this community and Twitter is that people are kind of tired of it, and hopefully things can go in a different direction and we can chart a better course for dialogue. I'm always open to things calming down and people chilling out and burying hatchets and letting bygones be bygones, because like, why? I don't understand why we can't do that. Like, I know it's difficult because you've dug a trench and you feel like that's a safe place and you don't want to come out of it, but I feel like some people are going to dig that trench so deep you're just going to fall into an abyss, and there's no way out. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to get like sanctimonious and preachy. It's in my nature. It's so hard for me to not see bigger picture here and just think through, the other deeper elements of what's going on with people that are, at some level, in need of a better path in life. But it's like, I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm always thinking, why can't we forge a new path? Why can't we be friends? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I find it to be a little discouraging at times, but I feel like, you'll attract the good people, and the people unwilling to be on that wavelength will just, hopefully maybe drift off and go away and leave the rest of us alone, Thrifty says, did we ever get clarity on the 16 teraflops being doubled? As far as we know, that's not what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and let Digital Foundry do a breakdown of what's the RDNA, how's it working, is there any kind of doubling on the teraflops? In the same breath where Richard Ledbetter and John Linneman discovered it wasn't 33 teraflops, John Linneman said, well, the teraflop war is over. There's so much more now that goes into assessing the power, the overall power of a device. So, very good point earlier. I was just talking to my wife about this, asking if these same gamers get mad when someone buys grapes at the grocery store, but they don't like grapes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, reforge a new path, right? Yeah, I'm not trying to be cute with my brand's name, but seriously. Lona's like, can I get an amen? Gamers being good people, half of them can't handle when you play a game they don't enjoy. Personally, if I have PS4 graphics with PS5 loading times, I'm already a happy guy. It really depends on the game, though, doesn't it? Like, art style. Like, I always thought Elden Ring looked incredible, but it's also not really a next-gen tour de force, It's not really like a next-gen display of, resolution and textures and lighting. But it has an art style that works, I certainly agree that you don't necessarily need... I think chasing photorealism is a bit of a waste of energy right now. I think art style is always going to stand out more. Wolf Saint says, are you going to do anything special for your 10-year anniversary of content creating? Yeah, I'm going to hit 50,000 subscribers and tell people that they failed. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm reclaiming what's mine. Yeah, we're going to hit 50K subs. It's like when Luke Skywalker throws down the lightsaber and he's like, you failed, Your Highness. Like, that's the energy I've got on that subject. We're going to hit 10 years, making content, and I'm going to have my 50K channel. So, that's how I'm going to celebrate. I don't know about doing anything other than that. Just be like, we hit 50K. We're just getting started. That's kind of where I am. You've surpassed the old channel. We have indeed surpassed the old channel. This channel is at 45.6. That channel's at 45.5. We're going to leave that channel in the dust. Along with the past. Where it belongs. I'm a content creator like my Twitch stream before me. That's right. Yeah. In any case, we got about 20 minutes before we're going to go to the writer's room. So if you guys want to make a mad dash to 200, you guys are going to have a tough Thursday and Friday ahead of you if you want to hit the weekly goal. I have no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to set up writer's room. It's been all about the PS5 Pro. It's been kind of hard not to make it all about the PS5 Pro. I was going to try to lead with Hogwarts today. But then they decided to drop all of the PS5 Pro reviews this morning. And I was like, well, I guess that's the lead. Lono's last video on that old channel. Go F yourself, San Diego. Oh, that's right. ASMR unboxing of your Pro today. Well, I won't have mine today. Based on the fact that they created the label like late yesterday, it's likely going to be here. When I get something from UPS, it's usually in the afternoon. So, anybody else want to see a Lono cooking stream? Well, we've continued to say that IRL streams on the weekend, like with my mobile phone and like grilling a steak or, hanging out, cooking out, something like that. We've continued to say that that's a possibility, but we tie those incentives to the Member Plus goal. And I've just been totally open and honest with people. It's like the gifting members is awesome, but gifting members is somebody else being generous. It's not necessarily like a community of people saying, hey, we're behind this. And so that's why we continue to say that's the number one thing that we need. We need folks saying, hey, I like this. I'm here every day. I can afford a membership. So they do the $6 Member Plus. And when we hit those milestones, we celebrate and say, hey, we're going to do extra content. We're going to do an IRL stream on the weekend, or he's going to do an extra stream of this game, right? Giving you extra content that doesn't exist right now. Like I'm never streaming on Saturdays. Like I take Saturday and Sunday off. And so those are the incentives right now. And I've just been pretty transparent with folks and been like, that's the single greatest and most important thing right now. It's amazing when we have huge member trains and people are gifting and doing all of that. But if you've been riding that gifted for a while, you could consider jumping in to the paid funnel, and then you make room for others. There are people that are just not in a position to pay for a membership. And we've been throwing that out there for a while. It's a cultural thing on YouTube. I just think a lot of people on YouTube don't do that. They don't care to pay for content. They don't care to watch extra content. They're like, yeah, I listened to you for 2 hours for free. That was great. And then they move on to the next piece of content. So I can't change that. I can only say we offer a ton of extra content for members. We offer even more on top of that for members who are paying for their membership. The only thing I can do is be honest about the reality. That's all I've ever tried to do with it, with respect to just what we try to do here with a Monday through Friday live show and uploads. And I do have somebody on staff that I'm paying to do all that extra stuff. And it's like that machine runs because of the folks that have gotten behind this and gift and super chat and show up every day. And if you're like, dude, I can't right now, I totally get that. That's exactly why I'm thankful for the people that are so generous, because a lot of people have kept their memberships because of that. So, when you guys are asking for extra and you want more and you're like, oh, it'd be great for gameplay or IRL streams or cooking streams, those are all things that are well within reach. But it's just, I can't do extra content outside of the work week. I can't do that just for the fun of it. It has to be like a reward. Is like, we start every day around 9 for morning coffee, and I'm ending most days with members around 3. But if I don't have to make an upload, I go till about 5 or 6. So you basically get almost the entire day with me if you're a member. And so for me to go beyond that, it has to be attached to some kind of a goal. I have like responsibilities and a schedule and wife and 2 kids that are always going to be kind of pushing against, I'm not a Twitch streamer that can just be like streaming until 9 o'clock at night. It's difficult to balance all those things. So I've never come across another creator with more members content chat than Lono. I personally enjoy Writer's Room. Well, I appreciate that, Corkscrew. I think people just aren't accustomed to it. They're like, they're just not accustomed to that format. Most people that create content on YouTube are either going to be doing regular uploads that they put a lot of time into. So maybe they do like 1 upload a week or every other day or once a month, or they live stream. And if they live stream, they normally have a pretty distinct advantage of being able to stream everywhere. And also, maybe they're on Twitch and they're monetized over there. I don't have that luxury. So we're in a pretty unique scenario where I'm having to do both. I'm creating uploads at a pretty regular interval. I've got somebody that helps me do that. And then I'm live streaming every single day, only on YouTube. And that really limits the scope of what we're able to do, which is why the member gifting and the support and the super chats and the people who tune in and listen every day and lurk and like, and the people who hang out in the Discord, that entire machine keeps this thing going. So, And I know people hate on me for that, and they call me an e-beggar, and they pocket watch, and they try to add up what they think I'm earning, and they are grossly overestimating what they think I'm earning, which is bizarre. And jealousy is just such a gross color to wear voluntarily. But I've always felt like it's better to just be honest with people, and be like, this is the reality. This is what we do. If you like it, do whatever you can. If the most you can do to support is you show up every day and you hit like and you lurk, that is amazing. There's thousands of people a week that do just that. They tune in, they hit that like button, and they listen, right? That is absolutely part of what we do here. Like, if that's all you can do, then that is a part of the machine. It's like, without that, this doesn't work. Without those people clicking that like button every day, throwing me on in the background and just chilling, that is 100% like foundation ground zero of what makes this work. On top of that, you got the people that chat actively, hang out in the Discord, gift, super chat, all those things. They all stack on top of each other. Some of the YouTubers I watch do like essay videos. Their Patreon member lists are at the end of the videos are wild. Yeah, a lot of the people did Patreon. I'm not really sure why you would offload things to Patreon. I don't like making people go somewhere else. I like it that as soon as you support the channel, you instantly get stuff. Does that make sense? Like, if you decide to give me $6 a month, I want you to immediately get something for that. Like, immediately. Like, extra content, extra show, extra stuff. I never want to be like, hey, can you go over there, give me extra money over there, and then watch the content over there? I've always struggled with that. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to give you the least amount of steps to the extra stuff, the least amount of steps to the value as possible. Like, even the Discord. I don't mention the Discord all that often because it's like, you got to leave YouTube to use Discord. Now, some people love it. They love going on Discord. They can listen to the show over there. They can type longer messages over there. So, but I don't really fixate on the Discord because it's like, it makes you go somewhere else. And it's like, I'd rather do everything right here. I've never engaged with Patreon. I feel like whatever you got to do on Patreon, it's got to be very, very separate too. It needs to be a separate value offer. It needs to be completely different than what I'm doing over here. And I don't have time to do it anyway. It's like, I wouldn't have time to give you anything on a Patreon. I wouldn't. So, well, you guys got 10 minutes if you want to submit questions, if you want to rally and try to get the members going, if you want to rally and try to get the, the super chat goal didn't hit. We can start another one and set it lower, though. We can set one last one here. I will gift 5 members. You guys can actually make me add to the total of members. We've never done that before, but this is a new feature that they gave us. A lot of people made their own sites because Patreon took too much. We were working on that for a while, and then we kind of abandoned that idea. It still may end up happening where, like, but the problem is we've shifted away from doing like a daily monologue. Like, our uploads are definitely a monologue, and we wanted to turn the monologues into like articles, and then have like a link to the video, and then have like merch. But there's just 2 of us, so there's only so much we can do. And I'm not able to do any of that. So it's like all those things kind of happen in time. Like the coffee website looks incredible now. It looks incredible. ReforgeRoast.com has been completely revamped. And I think we're going to try and send emails as well and do sales here and there to let people know, hey, come on back and check it out, especially if you're a coffee drinker. So most of the channels is just an icon and the green name in chat, for sure. Dark Taco says Demon Souls has better visual fidelity than Elden Ring. Well, yeah, I mean, because they shot for next-gen features in the remake. Yeah. Yeah. I'm here for it all. Something I've never done before, nor have ever paid to be a channel member. I enjoy your content. Yeah, I think more and more people are becoming open to the idea of like, yeah, you know, I'll subscribe, I'll pay. Like, I just think it's new, right? It's really, really foreign and odd to be like, hey, you like my content and you just hung out here for 2 hours. Why don't you hang out for another 2 hours? Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm good. And I totally get that. It totally makes sense to me. At an intellectual level, I 100% understand the behavior of the user that says, I don't want any more. Does that make sense? I think that's one of the dilemmas we've kind of always run into here is I'm competing with free content. Like the show, I had like an eyelash on my glasses. Like the show that I just did for the last 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's free. It's a free show. It doesn't cost anything. I don't run any ads during the show. Like, I'm not like walking away and hitting ads. So it's hard to compete with that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's really hard to compete with that. It would be like watching, maybe you really like a certain talk show. Maybe you really like, I don't know, Jimmy Fallon or whatever. And you're watching Jimmy Fallon and it's free. You know, it's broadcasting over the air or whatever. And there's commercials. And then at the end, Jimmy's like, hey, you can spend money and you can come watch some more with me. Well, you're probably going to say, I'm good. And you'll just switch to something else that's free. Like, I totally get the user behavior. It's like, no, it makes perfectly good sense. Competing with free is really tough. Like, free is a pretty good deal. Free is a pretty good deal. So I'm always asking somebody, hey, you just enjoyed all this content for free. There's an ocean of other free content for you to go consume right now on YouTube. And I'm asking them to not do that and stick around. And I just think that's a very, very difficult thing to do. It's like, a lot of people are going to say, no, I'm good. And I respect that. It's like, yeah, it makes perfectly good sense. It's like, go where you feel you're getting, you know, the most value. I never even thought about not running ads. I've always had premium. I just assume everyone runs ads. When I was on Twitch, you could run ads and the paying members didn't get them. I would be open to allowing YouTube to do that, but YouTube wants to automatically run the ads, and I don't want to let them do that. It's too disruptive to the show. So I don't run any ads when I'm live. I think it's bad for the user experience. I don't take breaks. I ensure that I can stream for 2.5 hours and not walk away from the microphone because I want you guys to have the best possible experience. It's like, I don't like walking away. I don't like radio silence. You know, I'm always going back and making sure, is the audio mix good? Is the music volume good? I'm always trying to do those things because, like, I want you to have the best possible experience. Like, I'd never want somebody to be like, oh, man, that was a great show, but I wish he wouldn't have done that. Or, oh, man, he's running another ad. Because sometimes on Twitch, that's one of the biggest problem is, like, you go and try and watch somebody, and it's like, oh, my gosh, there's an ad and another ad and another ad. So I've always thought the user experience matters the most. So it doesn't, it's like, because they're constantly up at the top of the dashboard. They're like, hey, you should be running ads. And I'm like, no. I don't want to disrupt the user experience. Okay, yeah, so if you guys have ever engaged with reforgeroast.com, you should be getting an email tomorrow with an announcement and a code that you can use. So if you've ever used reforgeroast.com to order coffee, keep an eye on your inboxes tomorrow. And if it goes to your junk, let us know. That should not happen. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I like rewind too if I need to. I do like that about live streaming on YouTube. I think being able to rewind is really nice because I've tuned in sometimes to live streams and then people in chat will be like, that was so funny, I can't believe, and I'll be like, oh, I wonder what they're talking about, and I can just rewind back to see what happened. Yeah, I think the rewinding on YouTube's great. It's a nice feature. You're paying for that today. All right, hang on one second. That should be totally fine. Let me just double check though. Once you left Twitch, I jumped ship. Discovered you on YouTube anyway. Yeah, I would love to be able to be on both platforms just because it would give more people an opportunity to engage. And again, like I said, I just try to be honest with people. It's like, you know, we're pretty limited in our abilities to reach and to produce content, and I feel like we do the absolute best that we can. You know, yeah, that's totally fine. Okay. The Uncharted Collection 1 through 3 will receive a PSSR boost via the enhanced resolution settings per Digital Foundry. It's doing exactly what I wanted. Yo, what is this? So even like older games like this are going to be getting what? You don't need to email me again, Chase. I mean, obviously these are older games, so there's going to be a limit on what it does, but that's pretty impressive. Is this from a patch, or is this just like automatic? I think the thing that stands out to me the most is the jagged edges of everything suddenly not being so jagged. Like, it's obviously not a remake or a remaster, but it almost looks like a very low-level remaster pass. That's just the boost mode. So that's just the thing that you can just turn on. Wow. Most people did Patreon before you could join on YouTube. Oh, that's right, Dark Taco. I never thought about the fact that we are kind of fighting a losing battle on that front. Like, people got accustomed to Patreon, and then they got accustomed to Patreon as a way of supporting, and then the memberships came in, and I just don't think they care. Like, the memberships aren't baked into the culture of YouTube and the platform. So, all right, let me give you guys a link to where we're going. We're going to go to the writer's room. I need to be able to stretch my legs and use the restroom anyway. Thanks for another killer day and killer show. Always remember that if you want to come along with us, you got to be a member. If you've never done a membership on YouTube before, consider trying it out. Would love to see people joining and not just waiting for the gifteds. If you have to wait for the gifteds, sorry on the slowdown. I'm gifting as much as I can to help get some of you guys back in. Individual gifting should be coming soon as well, so we'll make sure and keep some of you guys in the member pool. That will also help when we get that feature. So if you're like, man, I can't get back into gifteds, they've made some changes, so some of you guys have kind of gotten left out in the cold, and I am sorry about that. I have no control over that. If I could click on names and give you members, some of you guys would get a membership every month. But I just don't have any control over it. So that's the link of where we're going. Thanks so much for being a member to the channel. If you got a gifted member today or yesterday, we're middle of the week, a little on a slow start. If you guys want to have a big Friday night celebration, my birthday is Saturday. We'll do a Friday night thing. We'll do Fright Night with Madam. There's even a really fun Among Us game, the Death Note game. It's on PS Plus. It's also on PC, and there's crossplay. We could even play that as well. That could be pretty fun. So I am going to end the previous stream, though. So if you guys are in the previous stream, you should get redirected, or you can click the link in chat. If you want to come with us, click join, so that way you can become a member. And there we go. And then I'll make sure and change that thumbnail because we are no longer live.